I am back with Halley, and we have important things to talk about.
We do.
But welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me back, Kate. I am
Yes.
excited to hear your America's correspondents. We're here to talk about some important things.
Yes, the timing is pretty perfect, especially because this episode is going to come out tomorrow. So we're just gonna be on it with the pop culture.
We're gonna be on it with the pop culture. So not 2 minutes ago, I got an announcement on my phone from I think the Hollywood Reporter that they are pulling. Who knows if it's forever or if it's just for the moment. The season of The Bachelorette starring Taylor Frankie Paul from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives that was supposed to start airing on Sunday. Crazy they were airing it on Sunday, but like amidst the domestic violence allegations that she and one of her baby daddies have been kind of throwing back and forth, and his side allegedly leaked a video today from 2023 of their previous domestic violence incident, and I think that's what made ABC flinch. So I feel like there's a lot to dig in here about, like, you and I are like always so interested in sort of like the reality of reality TV, and social relationships, and like, I don't know. What are your thoughts? Do you watch
the new season of Mormon Wives has another season up too, right?
Yeah, they're cranking out like 4 of these seasons a year, which first of all, my like immediate thought is like, somebody should not let this woman be on the air. And I actually am a Taylor Frankie Paul fan, but I'm like, this is too messy. This is not good for her. This is not good for her family. There's children involved. Like, she shouldn't be on the air, you know? Like, she needs to be dealing with this stuff in private. That said, I'm here to talk about it forever with you.
Yeah, right. Except for when we talk about it.
Right. For our takes, which are perfect and right and compassionate.
Yes. I mean, you know what you're signing up for when you, especially with reality TV. That's a whole different kind of thing, even than just being like famous for singing. Or acting. But okay. So a couple of things. Blakely Thornton is who I found out that about the domestic violence in general yesterday, because he had a hilarious take where he was like, and now the heteronormative trash bucket that is the Bachelorette, and I about died laughing. He's just so funny. He's like, but they're gonna have to decide what they're gonna want to do. And I remember a lot of people when the show started airing where they're like, this is actually the most like ghetto show, but so many people weren't using the word because we've kind of racialized that word and think like white Mormon wives can't be that. Boy, can they.
They are messy. And like, do you watch the show Secret Lives of Mormon Wives?
I haven't seen the new season. That's why I was looking it up. Like, I didn't know, I didn't know if all the episodes of the new one had landed or if it was soon.
All the episodes of the new one, I think, have landed.
Okay.
They announced earlier or like last week that they had halted the filming of season 5, which I'm like, these women have been on the air for 18 months and we're already in season 5. Like, that's fucking crazy.
That is crazy.
They're just green lighting this. And like, and then we can also like, I don't know, we're just like complicit, and I don't know, there's a lot here.
I know, because it's sad. You and I've talked about that. It's like one of the more sad reality TV shows to watch sometimes.
Yeah. And like, I think the most fascinating part of it is like the part that's kind of said not super loud, although I think they dug into it this season, which is like these women are performing traditional femininity, but have in fact become the breadwinners of their family, which like forces a role reversal that the men in their lives like are not game for, except for Connor, who is a perfect angel despite his like Tinder/Grindr infidelities. But like, he's the only one who seems to be like,
he loves it.
Yeah. And I love that. And I'm like, okay, Whitney is now our queen. I don't know.
Somehow that happened.
So if you guys remember, if you were watching, there were first domestic violence, like that was the pilot episode of the show, which honestly, like, is that legal? Like, that was always, I thought that was crazy. They had like police camera footage from like the domestic violence allegations.
Yeah. I think it was though. You're right. It was police. It wasn't just Ring camera.
No, I don't think so. I think it was like body cam footage, which like, imagine, first of all, I mean, there's a lot here that's like very sad and damaging to talk about, but like, I also want to lean on Kate. Yes.
I mean, again, like you know what you're signing up for.
Totally. But like, imagine like, who the fuck are you that you're that producer that you go to the police and you're like,
oh yeah,
we're gonna need that body cam footage because it's going in the pilot. Like, what?
And then they didn't even know if they were gonna let her be in the season.
Yeah. And so it comes on the heels of that. We've also, like, if you've watched, I think there are very clear instances of emotional abuse by her baby daddy Dakota that have been captured on screen. I mean, this is like this is like a toxic sandwich like we've rarely seen, you know, like
and her parents.
And her parents, her mom
add to the, or maybe not add, they explain.
Yeah.
They explain. I just remember this, well, and I don't even remember the exact parts, but I remember them pretty much telling her, like, you should be grateful that you're with someone, even though he was so terrible. And that was the purpose of the conversation, was her being upset. Her parents just didn't care.
Right. Or like they've said stuff to her where like I feel like what I've seen her do is a thing that I feel like we've seen other women do on reality TV shows where like she fixates, like he's clearly a bad partner for her in a lot of ways, including, I would argue, like at least emotionally abusive, if not in other realms.
Physical intimidation at least.
Yeah, and like I don't remember, like there was like a scene burned into my brain in the first season where she's like days away from giving birth and he's like haranguing her about why she doesn't want to be married to him, and she's just like lying on the bed like crying, like
she's so pregnant and just crying and frozen.
And like, why don't you want to marry me? Like over and over. It's like, I don't know, maybe this, like, you know,
not a compelling case.
Exactly. Like, you know what I'm not signing up for life? This. But then I remember, like conversations with her, like I think she fixates on like who he was sleeping with and when. And like, to be fair, this man does seem to be super messy.
Oh yes.
Like sexually, but like when really what she could be focusing on is like the big picture of this person is wrong for me. And instead it's like litigating, like, you told me you weren't sleeping with her, but you did sleep with her. And it's like, sure. But like generally this person is garbage, you know?
As when I was in therapy, one of the things that, especially when you're dealing with a narcissist, they tell you, they're like, do not get into details, like, because that's where you spin and get away from the conversation that you're having. And so sometimes it's so tempting to be like, I'm going to have all of these things listed in my head that prove that you're wrong. They're never going to believe it, even if you have all the details. And then, like you're saying, they're just going to be like, well, I think it was the 16th instead of the 17th. So you're wrong. And you should be with me. Like, you don't get anywhere.
Right. It's like, it's not so much these small incidents as like the big picture, but I think it's much easier for people to be like, well, he lied to me about this girl or whatever. It's supposed to be like, well, this person has made my life a chaotic mess for 2 years.
Yes.
Maybe that's time to go, you know?
Yeah. I think sometimes, and this applies to a lot of things that I have been experiencing with people. I think sometimes too, it's like easier maybe to focus on those like the little details that make your decision okay, because otherwise you have to just completely believe for yourself, like, no, you're not great and I am done. Like, you have to completely own it yourself.
Totally.
And they're just going to spin you if you're in details.
Totally. And I think it's like almost a form of arguing with who you want this person to actually be versus who they are. Like trying to be like, if you could just not do this one thing, when it's like, actually, like the picture is much bigger than that. It is in fact about like these major incompatibilities. And
I do think that's a big part of it. Cause I've had moments here recently where I've been like, is my judgment okay? Am I catching the right things with the right people? And it's intimidating. And so then sometimes, yes, you're even like battling the part of yourself that is like, well, I think he's this person though. And like, that's the only reason I was with him. I'm not like, sometimes there's the whole, am I stupid for not seeing this? And so then that makes it hard to confront too. And then, I mean, her parents though, like,
and she's like,
doesn't seem like she had a good platform or a foundation.
No, totally. She's like trapped in layers of it where it's like, it's her parents. It's also, you know, the religion she's in that is like
Yes.
systemically patriarchal, and like that's the thing. I mean, I have always found it very easy to root for Frankie Taylor Paul, maybe less so after the domestic violence. I mean, who knows exactly what's happened now?
I
It's
know.
hard to know. We don't have a lot of details, but that's never a great sign. I'll never be a Dakota fan, so like,
No.
But like what I found so empathetic or like so tender about her was like she was so clearly being shoved into this box of like Mormonism and like be married and like have and do this thing very specifically, and it was
she's
like
trying not to,
right, and it's so clear that like that format doesn't work for her, but all the people in her life who should have her best interests at heart only know to push her in that direction. Like, and I don't think they're doing it necessarily maliciously, but they're only like,
it's all they know.
Just do this, you would be happy. And it's like, I don't think so. I don't think she's built for that, like
it's kind of like, I mean, no, it is. It's not even really that much of a jump, but it's kind of like in some circles, in some religions, it's like, you're not depressed. You need to spend more time in prayer.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to pray for you. Or like all of those things. It's spiritual bypassing is what that is. And then in this case, it's like spiritual bullying because it's so patriarchal.
Totally.
I know. It's so messy because I remember I've always felt bad for her, which is also like kind of what you don't want. Like, I think I've always had some pity for her. I mean, there's pity kind of watching that whole show though itself. Like, I think that's where I was still like, I've got to like talk myself into doing this other, because again, it's almost a sad show to watch.
I mean, I also find it
who knows how much it got exacerbated by what you opened up with is like, you kind of can't have a show about trad wives, especially because it's not just Instagram trad wife that's like 1 and 2 minute things. It's gonna be really hard to have a reality show about trad wives where they make the money and that never throws off the whole balance.
Yeah, totally. And I agree with you. I find it sad, like sometimes on a personal level. And then I also find it like sad for America where I'm like, I don't know, we're having this like culturally conservative moment where we're like trad wives are in the mainstream and like all these different things. And I'm like, I shouldn't be watching this. I'm part of the problem. But
I know.
The world is ending and I want to watch.
So Mackenzie talks about being a conscious consumer of anything, even media. And so like, I think she and I were talking about, it was with America's Next Top Model.
We're going to have to talk about that.
Yes. Where she's like, but if the next season's on, I'm going to watch. And I was like, I know, but there's you and I are not gonna, us not watching is not gonna make that show not get filmed anymore. And there is social insights from watching stuff like that. Even if some of it's edited a certain way, it still is socially interesting why it's edited that way. So I think I think we aren't like idolizing anyone in this show. Well, I don't think I idolize anyone in reality.
I've never felt better about my life choices than I do watching this show.
I know. You watch it, you're like, oh my gosh. And I remember like the first season, all of the like, all the threads or the tweets or whatever that are basically like, these bitches are this wild sober. Sober.
And also, I have to say, what they do to sodas, like, I don't believe in God, but if there is one, he's way more offended by that than wine, I would have to say. Like, good Lord.
That should be the title of this episode almost. That is so good. Yeah. I know. There's a lot in life lately where I'm like, or sometimes, I can't remember what it was. A couple of times, what was it? I don't know. But yesterday I was like, thank the God that I don't believe in that, blah, 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 blah. But also, I'm having more and more moments where I'm like, you think that's what God is worked up about?
Right.
Don't know if that's it.
No. I mean, maybe the war and genocide and like.
I hope that's what God cares about.
Yeah, I don't think he's like those Mormon women
protect the pedophiles. I don't think that. I don't get that vibe, but I can't even remember if I've told you. But like the funny joke is that obviously in 2025, I started reading a lot more nonfiction, and had all kinds of different people on the show, particularly Christians whose theology is through the lens of love, because I was like, there are actual Christians who like, see things differently too. So we made a joke last year that that 2025 got so crazy that I had to come to Jesus moment because historically I think he's a pretty cool activist who wouldn't be okay with a lot of this stuff.
100%, right? Like that is like, if you really like dig
he
into,
kind of got killed by the state for questioning corrupt power.
Totally. And he was like a socialist, if we're going to name it like a political,
you know, like
there are like obviously really good teachings.
Yes.
But like it gets really perverted by a bunch of different factors and interests and things where it's like, love thy neighbor unless thy neighbor is gay or trans or black or, you know, like that's
not white,
you know? Yeah.
I know, because the other news is even more sad, but another Duggar kid just got arrested for child molestation.
Almost like it's systemic.
Like it's systemic. That's
in a culture that like values male agency over women's bodies. And
I know. And I think I know because you see it. There are some people who think it is the most like far left cuckoo shit to say that purity culture and rape culture go together. But they do. Like they just do.
You know
they do? Because the women have so much shame that they will take it on themselves and it stays quiet. That's a big part of it, I think.
And we know they do because there's studies about this, right? Like we know that Utah is one of the most devout states. We also know it consumes the most porn. We also know it has like amongst the highest rates of like, you know, sexual abuse in families. Like there are like, it's not just conjecture. Like there are studies that back this up. It's really crazy.
Yes. It's crazy because when I watched the documentary on the Duggars, like, I don't know, was that 2 years ago?
That was terrifying.
And what was extra terrifying to me was almost all of that stuff was what I was the version of Christianity that I was in. And I had forgotten, but it's the James Dobson stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why watching that documentary, I was like, holy shit. Like these were like the Veggie Tales, like all these things that were like my upbringing. Where am I going with that? Oh, and so then I think I just shared it too. I saw a thread that was talking about like the Duggars and the Dobsons. Like the Duggars pushed James Dobson's family. I can't think of focused on the family. It's kind of like this wide spanning curriculum for churches and families or whatever. The Duggars pushed it so hard. And then we found out how terrible of a person James Dobson actually was, and all of the, at least, assault in different ways.
Yeah.
It's also quoted heavily in the Epstein files. If you go to the searchable Epstein files right now, even redacted, you will find so many references to the Dobson structure. And so then that's what someone was using to talk about, like, this is what we're talking, like, all of this is connected. The putting so much shame in certain areas so that they don't get talked about. And then like powerful men are like, oh, I'm going to latch onto that and say that God wanted me to do these things.
Right. Find justification for the gross things that I want to do by saying, oh, look, there's this culture or framework or whatever. Yeah.
And I mean, I saw something, I saw someone who was like, just remember, we don't have to say, oh my gosh, why am I agreeing with Candace Owens right now? We can just say, Candace Owens is finally agreeing with us.
Listen, a broken clock gets to be right twice a day.
I know. But she's been, I wondered, and again, I should say then technically this has not been 1,000% proven. But months ago, people were talking about how Erica Kirk got banned from Romania because of a pastor whose name I can't think of exactly right now, but that part has been verified.
Yeah.
One of the megachurch pastors that she is traveling the country with right now just got hit with massive child sexual abuse suit.
I didn't see that.
15 different now women. A few days ago that came out, and she's still touring with him, but they were in Romania together where they were getting so many complaints that they're banned from being in Romania. I'm like,
so I'm moving.
What is with you people? Like treat kids, like I feel like treating kids right should be one of the easiest things to do.
Yeah. I mean, right. It's like we're seeing so many structures that have said that they are about moral upbringing when it
Mhm.
turns out what it's actually about is like enabling men seems to be what's happening.
Right. And then it makes me more and more sad the more I learn, because there are naturally really great parts to most religions.
Yeah.
And it like all I can't believe I'm even having to clarify this, but like all Muslims are not bad,
No.
and all terrorists do not have brown skin and are Muslim. Like that's not the case. And then it's so sad because like I'm hearing so many people like, well, those are the Christians that give us a really bad name. And that's true for some.
Right.
But then some of those same people are then also being like, Muslims are dangerous. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you don't get to say that's not my version of Christianity and like allow yourself to separate and then just make a sweeping judgment against any other religion. It sucks.
Totally. It reminds me a little bit too of like the police when there's like the few bad apples theory, which is to
Yes.
say that like I do not believe that every person who works in the police force is a bad person or a
Right.
racist person. But the few bad apples theory doesn't hold up either because we are looking at something that happens systemically and is covered up.
Yes.
Like, I mean, it's clear that there is some flaw in the system that's either enabling people to go into this or once they're into this pipeline, converting them to something that is like much more dangerous and gross. And
Yes.
like that's the thing that I feel like the one bad apples people are missing. Like, yeah, you don't necessarily have to be a bad cop yourself if you're a cop, but like there is a problem in the system because it keeps happening.
Well, and I think that's making me realize, because there are a few people who are like, there's nothing wrong systematically with America in my life right now.
What would that be like to live?
Right? I think it's quote unquote nicer.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for me. I was just talking to one of my author friends and she was like, some people just don't even want to know. She's like, I have friends who don't even know we're at war. I was like, same. Or she's like, I have acquaintances. And I was like, yeah, I had someone be like, why is gas so high? And I was like,
oh my God.
The war. Which isn't that funny, but what was I about to say right before that? What was the last thing that
we were
you
talking
mentioned?
About systemic issues.
I think people who also are like, I don't think anything is systemic, or they think that's like such a far left, so extreme. They would also laugh at a joke in general about popes and little boys.
Yeah.
So it's like, for some people, because I'm also trying to extend grace in some situations where I'm hoping there's maybe some kind of ignorance, but it's not maybe willful. If I were going to extend some grace in that area, it's like, do they just completely not know? Like, I don't know. I don't know
either. I mean, I think America is a pretty good propaganda machine in the sense that like we have been telling ourselves for generations now that like we are the best. It doesn't get better. Like this is the home of the free. This is as if other nations aren't free too, which is strange. You know, we're built on a bedrock of imperfect but lofty ideals, right? That are good. Like there are lots of things about like the Constitution or the Bill of Rights that I think are like really great, important markers of democracy. But then we also sort of, instead of like working to continue to extend those and like take them further and like make them more encompassing and compassionate, we're kind of like, we perfected it. We did it right. We're not taking notes at this time.
And it's because we are white. So the white people get to enjoy it. Yeah.
Totally. And it's this sort of like, I don't know, this sort of like rigidity around,
like the reactions to Mamdani, I shouldn't be surprised, but it's insane. It's insane. Like he is making the city a better place in a way that I think almost if an outsider was just told details,
right,
I think they'd be like, wow, that's some really good change that he's making. And there are people still just saying the most racist stuff because they think he's a terrorist just because he has brown skin.
I mean, speaking of like, you know, propaganda, I mean, even using the word terrorist, when we say terrorist, I think even you and I understand that there is this racialized component to it. But like, I would argue that the greatest threat of terror in America, it tends to be white men with guns committing mass shootings. Like that is terrorism.
Like, nothing has happened for Renee Good, Alex Preddy, Keith Porter. Like nothing has happened.
Right. Or even like, you know, who was the guy? I'm glad I don't know his name, but this was years ago. There was that mass shooting in there's a million of them every year, but the mass shooting in Las Vegas at the concert, like that was a white man and they managed to capture him alive.
That's what drives me insane.
Right, but it's like this person is killing like hundreds of people or dozens of people, and we're not using the word terrorist for it. Yes. Some places do call it domestic terrorism, but a lot of places do not say that. They call it mass shooting, which is also this weirdly like that also becomes racially coded in a way that's like for white people generally versus like terrorism. Like,
well, and how we're like he probably had mental health problems.
I'm sure he did, but like
yes,
so do I now living in America, you know?
That's what got to me so much too. I read that book, Toxic Empathy, for research. It was terrible. But it's good. It's good to know if you want to know how these people are telling themselves that empathy is a bad thing. The immigrant chapter got me so worked up that I even have an Instagram post that you can scroll down if you want to go see it. But her whole thing is, I know you think I'm cold for saying this, but crimes by immigrants are crimes that could have been prevented.
Okay.
That's her whole thing. She's like, yeah, people are like, what about the crimes that citizens commit? And I'm like, well, these could have not happened if we didn't have them here. So I immediately was like, Allie Beth Stuckey's stance on gun control.
Yeah.
And she is hardcore pro, like no regulation. And I'm like, you want to talk about if you are actually concerned about saving people's lives in America, which is actually what my whole carousel ended up being about, by the numbers. Let's start looking at gun regulation if you want to talk about preventable crimes.
Yeah. I totally agree. That is like the number one, or like if we were even to say start profiling domestic violence abusers to bring it back to, but to be like, those are often the people who escalate into other things. And you went in a much more nice, logical based. When you said that about preventable crimes, I was like, if we put every man in jail until he proves he's not a threat, that would also get rid of a lot of crime. Again, not all crime committed by men, but like, let's start there.
It's everything that we're talking about also circles back to the, not all men, but always a man. Where that's with like police violence, like women, like we're talking about. Well, and have you seen that tweet going around that I don't get on Twitter. I need to say thread, but I say tweet. That's like women hate men as a system, but men hate women as individuals, and that's the difference.
Yeah.
So I think everything that we are talking about right now, we are talking broadly about systems within gender, race, words like terrorism, to your point.
There are plenty of individual men I like and love.
Yes.
And as a whole, I'm like, I don't think they're almost people, you know, they haven't really earned the right to be people yet.
I know. Yeah, it's like the Schmidt meme where he's like, oh, white man. It's like one of the best gifs. Whew. Well, so that's what's happening, like just in all of pop culture and a little bit of political culture. But it does kind of fit, because I was just like, maybe we should just, I don't even know why. It was one night I was like, what are we going to talk about? And I was like, we could do book, movie, TV show, and then a podcast or a song.
Yeah.
But that fits. We were talking about some TV shows at least to start it off.
Yes. And there's more. I have lots to. Okay. Are you watching Age of Attraction?
You're what? Oh, I haven't seen it. I know about it.
Okay. I think it is crazy. So sorry. I just, like you said, TV show, and I was like, we're going to
go for it. Go for it.
Do you know the premise of the show?
I heard Hannah Berner recap it, but you can recap it for people who have not.
So it is, I think it comes out of the Love is Blind family. It's not the Lachey's. It's Nick Viall, who you might know from, he now has like a ubiquitous podcast, and he was on The Bachelor. He terrorized a lot of women on The Bachelor, and now here he is. And he's married to a woman who's 18 years younger than he is, because she slid into his DMs.
I didn't know their gap was that big. Yeah. Okay, go on.
And so I think she was like 23 and he was 41 or something. And so they came up with this show that I think lives, again, like I said, I don't think it's like a spinoff of Love is Blind, but I think it's sort of like Netflix is like, we've had this monster hit. What else could we do that's like that?
Right.
So it is a show where people go to Canada because what's happening is clearly not legal in America. Just kidding. Canada is like better.
Yes.
Like they've exported them. And they go to basically like a summer camp. And they're dating all of these people, and you can't know the person you're dating's age until you get to what's called the promise room. Yes. And that's when you're like, we want to like keep dating each other. And then they say their ages, and
that's the one clip I've seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's I tell you.
How many episodes has it all aired?
We're
okay, so it's weekly.
Yeah, so we're pretty far into it. So they have a bunch of people. They did show us there were a bunch of like age appropriate matches, and they basically were like, these losers aren't on your TV. Look at them, they're off happy. We're going to focus on the ones that have the age gaps. And so I mean, it is truly wild that the show came out in a post-Epstein document America. Like, the fact that they're just airing this and being like, what is age? It's just a number. So he's 33 years older than her. Who cares? Watching it, you're just like, what? But I will also say it's the best thing that's happened to me in terms of brain rot for a long time. It is crazy.
That's how... I only watched the first season, but it was a similar thing because Love is Blind did well. The ultimatum like years ago, and I was like, this is terrible and I cannot look away.
It's one of those where it's like, it's very bad, but it is pretty watchable. And
oh my gosh, the first episode title is Age Just a Number.
That's what they're
just saying it.
Like, no, it's not actually. And there are a couple couples on there. There's just one. There's a couple I'm rooting for. She's older than him. I don't think it's going to work out because I think she's too freaked out by it.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But there are so many men who are like pretzeling themselves to believe that the fact that they picked a 22-year-old woman is they're like, she's so mature for her age.
Oh yes.
So mature. Like they're like, you can see them trying to convince themselves that they're not in fact skeevy men. And yet here we are.
It's so tricky too, because so what's interesting was I haven't finished the episode, but Hannah Berner was talking about it, and she is 12 or 14 years younger than her husband.
Okay.
But she met him in her 30s.
Yeah.
And so, and it's never felt weird to me. Like, they have a podcast together. That does not mean that you're hearing everything. I'm aware of that. But their dynamic has never seemed odd. And she kind of talks about kind of often about how like he had established his career already and hers was pretty established. And so like they didn't feel like they were competing with each other. And they're both like, he will be gone for like a week and then she might be gone for the next week, but they both respect their careers so much that they're just like, we're not gonna freak out about that.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I hear like a 16-year age difference and you're like, oh my God. And I know she was saying too, she was like, if I was 20 and was with a 36-year-old, she was like, now that I'm like 35, I think she's like, no. So like, it's weird. I don't know when the timeline is that all of a sudden it kind of isn't weird.
Right. And I mean, I think part of the reason it's weird is power, right? Like it is about the like potential power, knowledge, financial, like all of these things that go into that potentially, which I agree with you starts to level out. Like a woman who's like 45 dating a 61-year-old, I'm not worried about that age gap.
No.
Because you're sort of like, you're probably like, you have life experience, you have this other stuff that like may negate some of that like inherent power differential. Now, a 22-year-old woman and a 38-year-old man, as we see on the show, a little different, you know, or like a bunch of these men have kids who are like closer to in age to their partners than to them. And they're just convinced, they're like, she's going to be a great mother. And meanwhile, she's like, I don't know.
I don't know if I would call myself a mom.
Totally. I didn't see this for myself, which again, I'm also not blaming any of these women. I have a lot of side eye for these men who keep being like, she's 22, but she's a wise 22. And I'm like, that's not true.
I know. And that's the power part too, where sometimes like it's going to be really easy for them to manipulate you when you're that young.
Totally. And like, you may not have the life experience or the, financial standing or, and again, who knows? I think it's hard to do any sort of blanket statement, but in general,
right.
it like is really
there's
making for watchable.
Part where we're all. I saw someone who was, and I won't say anything, but the one I saw was like a reveal of like 60 and 27, and I was like, that is a big range.
It's a big range, and it is one red flag amongst many. You find out he's lying about having children. He and not like a lie by omission. She asks if he has children, and he says, no, I don't believe in having children out of wedlock. And then tells her later, like, yeah, no, I just didn't think it was the time to have that conversation. So it's like, it's not even sort of like a glossing over it. It's like, I directly lied to you. And then like, he really turns out to be a piece of shit in a bunch of different ways. Like,
well, yeah, because who doesn't realize eventually she's going to know?
Right.
Like, you're not as smart as you think you are.
Right.
Dude.
And then, and in that instance in particular, you're watching it. And my feeling was like, he knew how young she was on some level. I think they all know to some degree, right? Like, I'm watching it and I'm like, that girl's 22, that girl's 26, you know, like you can tell. And I'm like, oh, I think he picked her because of that. I think he picked her because she would be less likely to be like, hey, that's bullshit, you know, like, call him on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. This might need to be a falling asleep show.
Yeah. And you'll have nightmares about the state of America.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm surprised Canada hasn't put a press release and been like, we don't appreciate being involved in this mess.
They're like, we're going to build a massive wall.
In fact, we're building a wall and no more of this. No more coming to our shores.
Oh, I know. Well, to one more time speak about the state of America, which I guess you can't not with these topics. I'm counting this as a TV show. It's not, but I watched the Manosphere doc 2 days ago.
How was it?
It is.
I'm scared.
Painfully bad.
Yeah.
You will just be like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what though? Yeah. Like, are you sure you just said that? Without spoiling things, because some of the fun of it is seeing how this documentarian does it, and now I need to go watch some of his other documentaries. I don't know why that was the word I lost. I aspire to this man's level of calm with asking questions that he knows are even if they're not like provocative in an aggressive way, like they are, and he will just ask them and let people talk. And it's definitely, these people say stuff knowing there are cameras around, and you're like, you really said that? Like, it's absolutely wild. He did kind of interviews with, I think, 4 or 5 different of these men who are like really mega fit podcasters who are essentially, when we talk about red pilling, that's what this doc is about. And like, just for like a taste of it, the first guy he's talking to, I took so many notes watching this, because I was like, this is so crazy that I just have to at least like write this down, because I'm so shocked. He was like, so you are, the dude bro, I can't even remember which one it was, is telling Louis that women need alpha men, and like men have gotten away from, I know, being the providers, and it's just so important for men to be that way. And Louis says, do you think I'm an alpha male? And just like blinks at him. And it's so funny because the camera even caught it. And I'm like, he just looked down at him. And then Louis says back to the guy, he says, did you just look at my arms? He just says it. He was like, did you just look at my arms to answer that? And he was like, well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like you really care about your physique. So that was my first note. That's in the first 5 minutes. And I was like, oh my God, it's rough.
Yeah.
Like, I say it made me that angry. It's only 90 minutes, and it's not like you're watching like 3 hours. I think that helps too. And again, like for me, I would rather know that this is what is out there. You know what I mean? So yes, it's like mildly infuriating, but I also kind of recommend it.
I'm scared to watch it. I'll be honest with you. I'm with you. I think more information is probably good. And I'm also like, I may never date again. You know what I mean? Like
I can't even imagine.
Yeah. I find it so fascinating. Like, I have nothing good to say about red-pilled men at all, but I will say, like, some of the stuff with like the looks maxing or the incels or the alpha males, all of that at its core is a bid for connection, right?
I know.
Like, it is wanting to be like, I want a partner, I want this thing. But I mean, they don't really want a partner, they want, you know, a trophy. But like, it's still, I guess what they want is they want a woman in their life, but they still want to be superior. And they don't
one-way monogamy is what they call it.
And they don't really want to know what women want, right? No. I guess that's part and parcel because they don't see women as people or as valuable in any sort of way other than as a trophy to impress other men, which, like, I'm not using this as a slur, but like there is so much about this heteronormative culture that is in fact so homoerotic that is so crazy. You're like, it's about like impressing other men via women. Yes. Like, you guys could just kiss. We all loved heated rivalry. Like,
yes, we would actually love you.
Welcome, have fun, enjoy yourself. You know,
I know.
It's so crazy, and
it is. It's all about the male gaze. That's what, like, they're missing the point.
And the male gaze. You know,
exactly. It's both. Yeah, it's so wild.
It really is.
And they're like, women don't want equal relationships. Women want heroes. And I'm like, I actually don't. Like, also,
do you want to date a woman who's like, I want a hero, I need you to perform for me? Like, that feels like so much pressure.
Yes, like, I agree.
Come to the couch and watch Bravo with me. Like, normal people. Like, that's what we want.
Yes.
Come watch terrible Netflix shows.
I know. I know. It is. There's a lot about it that is, it's about the male gaze, both ways.
Yeah. It reminds me of, even if you didn't watch it, I'm sure you saw the clip that goes viral about the guy on Love is Blind being like, I usually date women who do Pilates. And he's like talking to a woman who's a hot doctor, homeowner, like all these things. It's like so crazy. And I saw a take on it that was about like how it's actually like red-pilled language. He doesn't even know what he means by that is he sees like a woman who does Pilates as a high value woman. It's like not even about this woman in particular or her body. It's about like some, like, I want to be able to tell dudes that like I'm dating a woman who like does Pilates all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. They talk about the obsession with high value women and what you need to do to be a high value man. At one point, there are like fans that come up to him like, I just want to tell you that you changed my life. Like, my life is so much better because of you. All I want to be is like you. And the documentarian asks them, he's like, so what changed your life? Like, that he told you. And they're like, that he told me. He was like, men start when you're born, you're worth nothing. And you have to work for your value. And so then Lou goes, okay. And then like, what do you guys think about women then? And he goes, women are born with beauty. Women are born with beauty. They come with value. They don't have to earn it.
That's so odd because there's like a way in which,
like, that doesn't even make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. And like, there's a way in which I sort of like, if I were to say that in a different way, I mean, I think all people have worth and value at birth by dint of being human and having humanity. But like, there's a way in which that statement on its face, like, doesn't be used positively. Or like kind of aligns with sort of what I believe, but I'm believing like a very different side of it of like, the more life experience you get, the more empathy, like the more you can offer a partner, the better you know yourself, the more you experience, the more like all of these things that it's like, oh, growth equates worth.
Yep.
Like, I don't know, worth is right, but like growth equates like, I don't know, increased value you can add to other people's lives, but that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about like,
they're talking about you need to, they all have to sign up for his day trading stuff.
Which is like, it's all just
so they can gain value.
It's a grift. It's all a grift.
All of it is.
It's so crazy.
Every last bit of it. Yeah.
We're just a grifter nation.
We are, though.
Yeah,
That's what it was. I read Clay, why can't I think of his? So I read Clay Kane, Burned Down Master's House. Really, 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 really great.
Okay.
Revenge historical fiction. But he also has a book called The Grift. And it's nonfiction. And it says the downward spiral of Black Republicans from the party of Lincoln to the cult of Trump. And so it's all about how grift has become such a thing. And I was like, it came out in 2024. I was like, I need to read that too.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you see it everywhere, right? Like every basically diets have been grifts forever. Like all of these things, like maybe it's just the natural endpoint of capitalism of like,
I think it is.
Yeah. Of just like, if you just need to sell in order to like accumulate, like to become wealthy, like eventually you're selling shit.
Yeah. In our book club, one of the girls is from Spain and she's like, I've never paid a doctor bill. Like, what are you talking about? And I'm like,
take us with you.
Can I move in with you?
Oh no.
I'll sleep on the floor.
I'll do whatever. It's fine.
Yes. Oh, yeah, God. It's not great. I also saw like a thread today that was like, America, the land of the great, where your eyes and teeth are extra add-on or optional add-ons. And I was like, it's so weird.
It's so weird. It's so, and yet again, not everybody. I think there are actually quite a large contingent of us being like, hey, is this the best we could do? But there is still a large contingent being like, it doesn't get better than this. And you're like, what? Really?
And that's what I started realizing is I didn't know how much of my childhood I was really hearing messages that were like, but you wouldn't want to live anywhere else. It's terrible everywhere else. And it's not terrible everywhere else.
It's not. No.
That's not the truth.
Where it is terrible, it's like, that's our fault. You know what I mean?
And then there's that.
That is actually our bad.
Yeah. Both like the whole world right now. We are.
Yeah.
It's just insane. It makes me so sad.
I know.
Like Cuba's in a blackout.
I know.
We just cut off.
Which is crazy.
It's wild. So anyway, the Manosphere.
Oh, great. Great. Manosphere, great.
Do you have any book or TV show or podcast or song recommendations now?
Yes. Okay, so let me stick with TV shows briefly because we started there. So I haven't watched it yet, but I became aware of a show that I am very interested in, and I actually knew nothing about this real historical event. It's called The Lady, and it's starring Natalie Dormer, and oh shoot, she was just on that Seven Dials show. She's a up and coming British actress. So it's the true story of a woman who was one of the personal dressers of Sarah Ferguson, trenchant in the news right now, who murdered her lover. Yes. And like the whole story about that. And I am very intrigued by that. That's like hitting on a lot of things that I'm like, wanting to know more about.
Yeah. That sounds great.
Yeah. Yeah. So I haven't started watching it yet, but it is on my radar.
Mm-hmm. You never watched any Game of Thrones, right? Is that
I watched all Game of Thrones?
Okay, someone I talked to on here recently said they didn't watch any of it. No, that was where I was introduced to her, essentially.
Yes, I love Natalie Dormer. I loved her. She was also in. She played Anne Boleyn in The Tudors, which I was obsessed with in college. And I thought she was great as Marjorie Tyrell. Side note, we're never getting the end of those books, huh? That man is not finishing them.
Oh, you're right. That's what you and I talked about. Yeah. I think he's like, I got tired of it, guys.
Well, and I even have empathy for the fact that like the show, I think, did finish out his vision, but maybe in a different way than he would have done it. And everybody hated it. So like, as a writer, I would find that very hard. I wouldn't be motivated to write a book that I'm like, I think a lot of people are going to be pretty mad. You know?
I know. And like, because I feel like there would be some people who just wouldn't buy it because the show was bad. And then the people who are buying it are like, please do way better than the show, but no pressure.
Totally. And it's like, I think he could, because I think I think the big issue of Daenerys's like evil turn, I actually thought was very interesting, but I thought the problem with the show was it was too compressed.
I agree. It just needed to take time.
Right. And so I think in a book you could do that and it could be very cool, where you're like, by the end of it, you're like, oh, I thought she was the hero and I realized she's the villain. Like, that's very cool.
Yes.
But it
like
took us
Doom.
like it went too quickly, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was rough. You could feel the pressure.
Yeah.
on the writers.
Yeah. What about you? Any TV shows you'd recommend or that you're wanting to watch?
So the other one that I just finally started is The Pit. I'm finally watching it. Have you seen any of it?
I have seen a few episodes, but I'm not a religious watcher of it.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of the first season. I was so hardcore in my audiobook era, which I still am. And actually the book I'm going to talk about, I was so good last night that I was just like, it's a great TV show, for the record. So for people who don't know, it's in basically in a Pittsburgh ER, and my lungs decided to just give out right when we need to record.
Sure.
Each episode is 1 hour in the shift, so that's kind of like a fun structure for it. Basically, Noah Wyle is the main character. But yeah, if you like medical dramas, you'll enjoy it. I remember seeing people when it was airing say that it was so realistic that it was closer to a documentary, and that's what made me scared that there was like, not scared, but like I don't love watching surgeries be done, so I thought like a lot of that was in it, and it's there, but it really is. I see how the other thing that I had been seeing all about it last year was how healthcare workers were like, this is one of the better depictions we've seen, especially of the emotional ups and downs of one day in the ER. And I see what they mean about that, because they're the end of episode 3 in the first season, because Gare's the one who told me he was like, you have to. I was like, okay, I'll start watching it on the treadmill or something. It's so sad. But then you're reminded that the healthcare workers have to go help the next person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're just like, I remember, I say it like it was so long ago, but I texted him even, and I was like, I don't know how they do it. Yeah. Like, so much respect to the people who can like know, because that's one of the things they grapple with early on, that like patients will die maybe every day of the week on one of your weeks or whatever, and you just have to keep rolling with it. So it's very emotional, I will say that. I don't think I could binge it.
Yeah.
I watched the first episode, and then I watched 2 and 3, and I was like, I'm not ready for the next one yet. Yeah, but it is really good.
Yeah, I've heard that too, and I've seen a few episodes. I really enjoyed it too. I'm not in a place where I'm clearly gravitating to less weighty things right now.
Okay. I don't know why I tend to do the opposite, but I have learned that I do.
I love it. Have you seen any of the like rhetoric around? So when we get to talking about podcasts, I was going to mention this one, but they did a deep dive episode about it, of Michael Crichton's estate suing because they think it's too close to ER. Like, it is actually a very interesting story, because Noah Wyle was in ER.
Yeah.
It was originally pitched as an ER spinoff. Okay. The Crichton family didn't sign off, so they removed some elements of it, but it's essentially like still a very close to like what they were originally going to pitch as the ER spinoff. So it's like this very interesting.
I did not know about that.
Battle around like, is it like IP or is it not?
Because it's like all medical dramas feel really similar.
Right. Well, so
I don't know. Was ER the hour by hour too?
I don't think it was, but when they did approach, so it was kind of the thing that launched Noah Wyle and George Clooney back in the 90s. And so when they did approach, they were like, we're going to do an ER spinoff, and it's going to be hour by hour. And so when the Crichton family Crichton estate didn't sign off on that, they said, okay, well, it's not going to be an ER spinoff, but it basically was this very similar to what they pitched. They just said it's not an ER spinoff, and they were kind of like, wait a second, like, if you're, and so, and I don't really have a side here. I think arguments for either way, but it was an interesting thing to do a little bit of a deep dive on.
Interesting. Okay, well, I'm gonna go down that rabbit hole at some point.
Definitely.
Do you have any other TV shows?
TV shows, not hugely. Okay. I have a couple movies. So I saw Pillion.
Did you see it in theaters?
I did.
Oh, it was in ours for like 3 days. I thought it would be more than 3 days. Okay, go ahead.
It is one of the benefits of living in LA is like you're gonna have a lot of
many. Yeah.
So I saw it over the weekend with some friends.
Nice.
And I made a fatal choice, which was I had to go to the bathroom, and I went to the bathroom, and I missed the moment that Alexander Skarsgård went full frontal. And
how rude of the universe!
I came back, and my friend was like, he was naked," and I was like, "What?"
Oh my god!
So if you don't know, it's a story. It's starring a young man. I think he played Dudley Dursley actually in Harry Potter. He was the child actor who played Dudley Dursley grown up, and he gets involved in this BDSM relationship with this older motorcycle man played by Alexander Skarsgård. And
motorcycle man, I love that.
Motorcycle man. I don't know what they call him.
No, it works. I like it.
And Leather Daddy, I guess, is what it is. That's it. And he, it's a very interesting story about love and self-exploration, and I don't know. I liked it a lot.
Nice. Mm-hmm. I'm wondering.
And I missed Alexander Skarsgård's penis, and I will never forgive myself.
Dude, his actors on was that what it was with his dad was so funny. Or no, yeah. So that was really funny. And then after it, I saw an interview where someone was like, "Are you like embarrassed that he did Pillion or whatever, or that he did BDSM?" And he's like, "I'll be embarrassed if his acting is bad." And I was like, that is the answer.
Swedes have a very healthy attitude about sex, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and I think that family obviously has been in the business.
Yeah.
I was just trying to figure out when it's gonna stream.
Mm-hmm. I know.
I don't know. Yeah, I was gonna see it, but it happened. It came and went too quickly. Kind of like Alexander.
It came and went too quickly.
While you were peeing.
I went to the bathroom too. I was like, I feel like now is safe. We're not going to miss anything. And then,
yes.
What about you? What are you?
Well, my movie experience that I thought I was going to be able to make content about, and I kind of did, but anyway, life is life. I got to see. Harley just burped really loud. Hopefully no one didn't hear.
I didn't hear it.
I was like, what just happened? Okay. I got to see Project Hail Mary in 70mm IMAX.
Oh my gosh, how cool.
Yes. So you were talking about the perks of LA. There's one perk. There are two perks in Indiana. One is Wild Geese Bookshop, and two is that we have a 70mm IMAX, and there are only like 14 in the whole country. So it's one thing I can hold on to. And I didn't even realize that we were getting to see it a week before. So
I was gonna say, I think
for most people, it's airing today as this episode airs. But we got to go see it on the 13th, on Friday the 13th. It's my new favorite adaptation of all time. Really? It is one of the best adaptations I've ever seen. Like, I listened to it. That's the other part. And it's one of those where like anyone asks, like, how do I get into audiobooks? Which are the best? That one and Dungeon Crawler Carl, which is always so hard to say. Those two are what like everyone talks about being so good. And it was. I got so lucky that was like the third audiobook that I listened to. And I cried so much when I listened to it. And I was like, I wonder. And I listened to it like 8 months ago. I know because I went back into my stories to grab stuff. So there had been time, but I was like, I don't know. Like, I think I'll be emotional, but who knows? And Tyler's like, I think you cried for the last 35 minutes. And I was like, it's so beautiful.
Aww.
So I loved it. It's one of the best adaptations. I do think like, because I was thinking about on the way home, if a 16-hour audiobook or like a 600-page book, or the fact that there is like science explained within the book, and I can't tell. Some people are like, yeah, it really wasn't that difficult. For me, it wasn't, but I can never tell when people are like, how sciencey is it? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, people who I think would say like, oh, it was not a problem, dislike it, and people who are like, I'm scared are like, oh, I understood it all. So all of that to say, if like a 16-hour audiobook doesn't work for you, this, I think it's like 2 hours and 30 minutes. I can't believe how true they stayed to all of the like emotional beats of the story. It was so good. I was so emotional. And it's one of those things where when the trailer came out last year, some wonderful people on TikTok were like, if you have not read this book, don't watch the trailer. And so then I immediately started listening like the day after the trailer came out. So for the sake of that, I'm not going to talk about anything else. But if anyone wants to ask me questions, they can DM me.
Okay.
But it's a space. For the most part, it's an epic space movie. Like if that intrigues you, you will enjoy it.
You're really selling me on it.
I think you will love it. And then we'll have so many things to talk about.
Okay, I gotta watch it. I am a person who's like, in general, a little freaked out by space, and I'll be honest, like I don't examine myself to know why, which is like, you know, I'm
like deathly afraid of spiders, like even small ones, like.
So it like, I thought it looked like a beautiful adaptation. I like Ryan Reynolds, like Ryan Gosling. And not all Ryans are the same person.
No.
The one Ryan theory is going to be my podcast I start. There's just one Ryan. It's getting weird. My Dayquil's wearing off. It's getting weird.
Oh my gosh, we're both just limping our way through this one.
People are going to be listening, being like, "What?"
Oh, are they okay? I'm like, my hands are just shaking. I took my inhaler. I'm all hyped up. Holly's crashing from Dayquil.
I know. I'm hitting the caffeine. I'm coming in hot.
I know.
So, but now it's higher on my list. I want to see it.
You will love it. It's so like, I don't know. The emotional beats are fantastic, and I feel like it feels less sciencey than like even like Interstellar, and so like,
which
there's humor. So that's right. There's a lot where like it is like Interstellar. If you love Interstellar, you're going to love Project Hail Mary, but you might love Project Hail Mary and never see Interstellar.
Yeah. I get that. Okay.
That's my long-winded thought.
I like it. Good to know.
Oh, I loved it so much.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Do you have any podcasts that have been like tickling your brain lately besides obviously this wonderful podcast?
Well, there is this one. I love Good Hang with Amy Poehler so much. She's so good. I haven't listened to the Viola Davis one yet, but I keep sharing the clips because I'm just like, Viola Davis is so cool. She's just amazing.
Yeah.
And I actually just listened a couple weeks ago to her Judge Stone. She co-wrote a book with James Patterson.
Amazing.
Whew, it is really, really, really good. And I will say, and because I had people ask, and so no, I haven't read James Patterson in years.
Yeah.
And for people who are like, does it feel like a James Patterson book? It feels like Viola Davis pretty much wrote a book and then partnered with a pro to like be like, let's do this. Like this story is very Viola Davis.
Yeah.
And then if you've listened to her or read her memoir, there's like even more where like you it's so fascinating because you don't always have like 10 hours of an author's autobiography or a memoir when you then read their first fiction. So it feels very much like Viola Davis, but that got me podcast. So then she's on Amy Poehler's Good Hang with Amy Poehler this week. So I want to watch that, but I love Good Hang. And the other one, actually, these are the main two that stuck around for me once audiobooks happened, is So True with Caleb Heron. He is one of the funniest people in the world. He is so funny and also so like kind and wonderful.
I love that.
Like, he makes me laugh so much in so many different ways. So I love So True. We always ask guests what's so true to you is one of the questions they all have to answer.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen clips of that on social media, but I haven't really like watched or listened to.
Oh my gosh,
I could.
He's so fun, especially with Drew Afuolo. Like they're really good friends.
I love her
and Brittany Broski as well. They all like get along really well.
Yeah. Okay, I got to check that one out.
Yeah, I love it. Have you been listening to any?
Yeah, I don't like I don't like being alone with my thoughts these days. So it's like a nonstop podcast fest. But a couple, I mean, I have like a lot of them that I listen to, like If Books Could Kill or Maintenance Phase. Like those are some staples for me. I love culture study podcasts. Like I like anything that's very much like, let's take like an informed look at like low culture at times. Like I find that very enjoyable. But ones that I wanted to talk about are, so I mentioned it earlier, there's one called Infamous. I don't know if I always agree with their takes, but it does a lot of stuff that's like really in the zeitgeist. Like for example, I just listened to one that came out today that was about like looks maxing and twin flames.
Oh yeah.
The way that like incel culture has kind of like, I don't know, that we've like the way that we were talking about it, like this grift. And they did one recently, actually, that was a fascinating listen, which was like the Deepak Chopra emails that came out.
I'm like scrolling their episodes. That
one's excellent because it basically talks about some of the stuff we talked about before, where it's like how one of the things that you see in those emails is Deepak Chopra kind of trying to create a spiritual, I mean, he's not the first one to do this, but a spiritual framework for Jeffrey Epstein to be like, you can just be a spiritual person even if you're a billionaire. Like, which like historically religions have been like, money is evil, greed is bad. Like you want to be like, you know, penitent and humble. And then like, and I'm sure it's not just America, but like now we have this sort of like, what did they call it? It's like the something about bounty or whatever, where it's almost like, we flip that on its head where it's like, oh, the fact that I'm rich means God loves me.
Oh,
like,
it's called gospel, prosperity gospel.
That's where it is. Exactly. Prosperity gospel. They talk about
very
that.
linked with Christian nationalism.
Right. Exactly. And so they were like talking about that. And like, I don't know, it was a really interesting little thing. And so
it's so damaging to act like, because I'm so good, my life's this good. There are some really good people who have some really difficult lives.
Right. And like, right. And I think that also erodes at empathy, right? As like, and then you can say like, if somebody's life is going poorly or something bad happens to them, it's like, oh, they deserve it. Like that is a pretty lateral move out of that, which is like, really so I enjoy that podcast. And then the other one that I have been really into, and I know this has been in the zeitgeist and I actually haven't watched the Netflix doc, but it's called Curse of America's Next Top Model. And it basically, it's a podcast that like reexamines, you know, America's Next Top Model and speaks to a lot of the women who were contestants and like talks about like how deeply fucked up all of this stuff was. And it's like, I mean, I agree with you. And you said this earlier about like, it's interesting to be like, oh, this is so bad. But if there's another season, I don't know that I would watch it, but I'm not like necessarily opposed to it, even knowing all the exploitation and stuff, which is interesting. And I should probably examine that. But like, I grew up watching that, of course, right? You know, and I do remember ingesting some really toxic stuff from that, and like finding it pleasurable in a way to watch this thing that was like humbling women in really horrible ways, you know?
And I remember, like I never wanted to be a model. That was never there, but like the lens and then like the message I was getting when they're like, this is what it's like. You have to do things in horrible conditions. So I remember just being like, well, you have to be prepared. That's what the job is like.
Exactly. And it's like, no, like there is not an agency that's going to like make you switch races and be in blackface. It's fucking crazy. And it happened multiple times. And like, it's just really, and so they do an interesting job of, you know, and I think this is really in the conversation now after the Netflix doc of all of it, of kind of like unpacking like what's Tyra's culpability, and Tyra herself is like in a framework of certain things. You know, she was one of two Black women who became supermodels at the time, and like basically they were pitted against each other and like all these, but I don't know. Did you watch the show on Netflix at all?
Oh, yes. Yeah. And then I didn't even know, but Mackenzie and I were talking about it. She auditioned. So then the episode with her, like she has some BTS moments of it. Whoa. She was like this close to being on the show.
Whoa.
I know.
I'm kind of glad for her she wasn't, because it seems to have fucked up a lot of people's lives.
That's how she feels too. We have an ongoing joke that like her memoir is going to be like 3 feet from danger, because like she was like really sad when she didn't get invited to the Diddy parties, like all her friends were, and now she's like, oh,
Oh,
Okay,
right.
that wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
And then like in Miss America, she came that close to
Yeah.
our current president
Yeah.
and like didn't get pulled completely into that either. So I'm like, you were just always like 3 seconds from danger. So
Totally. Like all these near misses that it's like, I'm sure we're disappointing in the moment. And then when you look back on it, you're like, oh
yes.
my God, thank God, you know?
Yes. And she
Yeah.
just has the craziest like random stories like that. But we both just ended up watching it basically and then talking about it. But I was like, the other thing that was interesting to me was it was one of those shows where like I didn't experience it in real time
Mhm.
because there was like everything that I was kept from as a kid, then I
Sure.
tried to like catch up on in college. So that was one of those shows where there were so many seasons of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, I can finally watch this now.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I remember being like, yeah, she really has like put on weight, like
Yeah.
agreeing with them where you're
Right.
like, oh, and then it was reminding me what it really reminded me of too is the Jessica Simpson picture that we all know about,
Yeah.
where we were like, wow, she was so fat. And I look at her and I'm like, she is gorgeous there.
I know. Or Britney
So I
Spears, like
believed it.
totally. We totally did. And because we
Mhm.
were being guided to believe it, and that was the
Yes.
conversation. And I'm with you. I remember the same thing too, of being like, I guess you don't have what it takes to be a top model, and not
Yeah.
necessarily having the, because I mean, I didn't watch it in real time either, but what I remember was
Mhm.
there were always marathons of it going.
Yes.
You would always sit down. Like I remember getting ready for prom and like watching a marathon.
Mm.
You know, in college, you'd be like, what are you doing Saturday? It's like, I guess I'm going to watch 9 episodes of America's Next Top Model, you know, like,
Right.
um, so you were sort of like, I don't know. I remember that too, of this sort of being like, I'm taking it at face value that
Yeah.
what women have to do in order to be a model, and that
Right.
this is okay to speak about women this way, and that this is
Yes.
actually like, you need to have the thick skin in order to, and like, I think that's done a generation of us some pretty good damage, you know?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, because I felt so removed because it was never
mhm,
what I would go after. So I'm just
no,
like, oh, this is just what it's like. And she's just preparing them, which there was also that commentary of like she said she wanted to like help make the industry different
yeah,
than what she grew up in, but actually kind of ended up just pandering right back to it.
totally.
Instead of making it different, she just kind of passed down the trauma and was
Mhm.
like, well, you're just gonna have to do this.
Yeah, totally. And
Ugh.
I think that what I found interesting about the Curse of America's Next Top Model podcast too was like they did try to do some reckoning with, like, there were ways in which, I mean, Tyra was maybe putting women of color on
I know.
TV in like a mainstream way that you weren't seeing, or like
And
a
trans
trans
women.
woman, or like, and then of course you find out later, like even after the podcast, it was funny because they did a recap episode after they watched the Netflix thing, and they were like, oh yeah, we actually gave her props for like the way she handled this, and then like they talked to this contestant that we didn't get to talk to, and she was like, actually it was horrible, and then so never mind, you know. But like,
Yeah.
it's not that there weren't things that she was doing that were like revolutionary, but like there was so little care taken in some ways to like
Mhm.
prepare, and like the fact that they weren't paid, they weren't compensated, like, I mean,
That's
how much,
insane.
and like how many times have those things rerun, and like they're not making
Right.
money off of that, and
That's wild.
it really is, it's crazy. And I didn't see the documentary yet. I kind of felt like overkill because I just listened to this podcast,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
but the a clip that I've seen go around and that I've read about of Tyra being like, I've owned up to it. I hope when they come for you, you're as open as I've been. I was like, what a crazy reaction.
There's
What a
a lot of that.
reaction.
Like we think she thought she like killed it.
Yeah.
Like just just
100%.
like totally rewrote the whole narrative,
Mhm.
like totally proved she was a victim. Like I think she was like, I am gonna look great because she's the main producer of it. That's like
Yeah.
the wild part.
Or maybe she even like, I'm with you. I think she probably did or doesn't. I don't think she sees herself as having really done anything as damaging as I think a lot of
Yeah.
fans are too of. Um, but then I think the flip side is like maybe she doesn't care. Maybe she just cares that she's in the conversation. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
maybe it's like all publicity is good, even if I come off like an asshole.
Mm-hmm. The big trench coat. Like, there are just so many fascinating elements.
We like understand to be like the wardrobe of the villain, right?
I
Like,
know.
it's so crazy.
I'm trying to think, like, it was reminding me of how Olivia Pope talked about how clothing is armor.
Yeah.
Like, I think of that line way too frequently, but I'm like, is that what, like, did she feel protected? Because she just looks like a villain.
Totally. She looks like a villain. We understand trench coats to be like, you know, reductively like a thing that wears, or like a thing that you're gonna like flat, like you're hiding something. Like, it is so like, what a strange visual symbol.
It's so weird. Like, I would think you would almost want to like feminize yourself, like look softer.
Right. The way
Not that she has to. It's just what I would be doing if I was trying to soften my image.
Totally. Which again makes me wonder, maybe she's not.
She doesn't care.
Like,
yeah.
Like, I don't care as long as I'm the topic of conversation.
It's wild. Yeah. Because I can't imagine that, or I can in terms of empathy, but because that will never be me.
Yeah.
Like, I understand I have a podcast. I do not want to be famous. Like, no, not even a little bit. No. So I forget that some people are like, I want all the attention.
Or maybe once you're also at that level, you're like, I can't slip, you know, like I can't have less than what I have now.
Yeah, that's true too.
I don't know.
I don't either.
What about books? Are there any books you've read?
Yes. So I just started one that Gare happened to tell me about a couple days ago, and I was like, how did I not even know about it? It is from a debut author. It's called The Plans I Have for You by Lai Sanders, Lai. I just have like a short synopsis pulled. After a subway altercation goes viral, Shelley Hu loses everything: her law school future, her internship, and the life she was building, forcing her to return home and start over. When a mysterious woman offers her a path to reinvention and revenge, Shelley is pulled into a dangerous plan that quickly spirals beyond her control. And I'm having a hiccup attack. So hold on. No.
Should I try to scare them out of you from across the screen?
Yes. When I think it's just when I'm having breathing, I guess it makes sense that your diaphragm because when I take my inhaler, I tend to have hiccups 40 minutes later, which is probably right now. Okay, so this one, it feels very unique, while also I have like the most comps for it, which seems kind of odd, but it has some of the vibes of like Such a Fun Age.
Okay.
Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. I'm Not Done With You Yet by Jesse Q. Sutanto, and Almost Surely Dead by Amina Akhtar. So it has a lot of vibes in one, but it also still feels pretty unique. But it's kind of like the main character, someone really does just like approach her in her life and is like, I've been in a situation where I needed revenge too. And so you kind of, because I think I'm at 40%. The whole time you kind of are like, so why did she pick her? Like, you have so many questions that are not getting answered.
Yeah.
And it's one where it's like, is it slightly magical? Is it spiritual? Is it like pure psychological, like literary fiction?
Yeah.
It's very fun. I like it a lot. And I'm listening to it in case anyone listens. And I'm liking it as an audiobook.
Okay, I have to check that one out. That sounds great.
Yes, I know. Yeah. What's funny is Gare just texted me and asked how far I am in it, because we unintentionally are buddy reading it.
I love that.
What else? That was the main one I pulled. I just finished one called, actually this one, because of what we were just talking about, it probably makes sense to mention this one. This is one that I am eyeball reading. It is called Reality in Ruins.
Ooh.
And the subtitle is, How Conspiracy Theory Became an American Evangelical Crisis. So the really short version, for concerned citizens and anyone who's lost relationships because of conspiracy theories, a historian and theologian explores why paranoia happens, its unique entanglement with evangelicalism in America, and how to cope in today's culture of fake news and alternative facts. I got recommended it on NetGalley, and I was like, you are right. I am interested in this. And it is, I'm 20 pages in and I'm like, this is fascinating, especially from a historian, a theologian. I kind of, you feel both of those perspectives.
That's really interesting and very relevant, terrifying relevant.
To what we started with.
Yeah, kind of the story of America currently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the books in my life right now.
I just finished Vigil by George Saunders, my boyfriend.
Yes.
This podcast, when we meet, has like recently unintentionally become the like Halley's horny for podcast. So sorry about that. But I didn't love it. He is like, I think, one of the great living American writers. I've loved so much of his stuff, and there was something interesting here, but it didn't. So it's a story of, it's like this man, KJ Boone, is dying, and he's been like an oil tycoon, and like pretty directly linked to climate crisis and climate change. And so as he's dying, our main character, Jill, is like a spirit who, she died young. She was blown up by a bomb that was meant for her husband. And at the time of her death, she was like blown into the consciousness of the man who planted the bomb. And it was like such a and she has this like very profound transcendent experience to be like, I don't even blame him for what he's done. Who could like hear all the things in his life? Like, who could he have been other than what he is? And like, so it's this very like profound experience of like forgiveness and identification. And so sees her goal as she's like sometimes comes to earth when somebody's dying to like comfort them and kind of like give them spiritual succor, and really struggles with this guy who is not willing to admit his own culpability in different things. And like, so there's a lot of like really interesting ideas at play. His writing is great, and I didn't love it. And that's an odd thing to, I feel like I can say that about George Saunders because his career is just fine. But like,
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. I'm like, me saying this about this like massive book isn't going to make a big difference.
It's like, and it's like, it's not even that it's not worth reading. Like if you're interested in it, like, and it's not very long. It's like 175 pages or something. Like it goes.
I didn't know it was super short.
It's super short. It just is like, I came out of like Lincoln in the Bardo, his last novel, being like,
that's what
all time. Like,
that's what I want to read more, like since we talked about those two. So that's probably what I will start with.
Well, and I bet Lincoln in the Bardo is an amazing audiobook too, because
it's like, what I've heard.
Yeah. So, not that you couldn't also eyeball read it, which is a term I hadn't heard before, but I like that.
Steph introduced it to me.
I like it. Yeah, it helps. Just finished that last night. And then I also want to, and I'm about to start, I haven't started it yet, but I have it next to me. The Gifts That Bind Us.
I love that cover.
Yeah, it's a YA book, and it's the second, I don't know if it's a series or a trilogy or maybe even a duology by Caroline O'Donoghue, who I have more or less like fallen in love with over the last like year. And her first book was called All Our Hidden Gifts, or the first book in this thing was, and it's about it's about this like 16, it's kind of like Dairy Girls meets like tarot fantasy. It's very cool. And so this is the next one. So I know I'm going to like it because I find her very fun to read.
That looks fun.
Yeah. And then I also want to plug, I got to read a couple weeks ago a book that isn't out yet, which is like my prerogative of having writer friends. It's called The Chaperones by Amy Meyerson, whose book Lies was incredible and came out in December. I'm pretty sure this one's coming out in either December or might get pushed to January, but it's basically like a very it's kind of like a comp might be like Big Little Lies. It's like a family or like a school, like the PTA goes of this like very rich school goes on a weekend field trip to Catalina Island off the coast of Southern California, or no, I'm sorry, the Channel Islands, not Catalina Island. And people wind up hurt and secrets come to light, and there's a body. It's great. And it's just, Amy is such an incredible writer, like both in terms of story and prose. Like it's really, really well done.
Yeah. I don't think I think because you're saying she's not quite sure. Oh, I did find it on Goodreads. There it is.
Yeah, it's
So
like
it
I
doesn't
don't
have a
think
cover, but yeah, you're right. I
yet.
think since it's so far out.
Yeah.
Well, I
It's
added it. So
yay.
at some point there will be a cover there.
Yes.
And I'll link it.
Yes.
That sounds good. Did you see there's a Big Little Truths?
I did see that.
Okay, can I?
That's a terrible title.
Thank you. It felt so lazy. Like I was like, what? But then the other thing that's weird to me is they did a whole other second season of the TV show, and to then have the book come out so long after, it feels. I wasn't as excited as I expected to be.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I understand that title, why they picked it. Big Little Lies, Big Little Truths.
Right.
It's a bad title.
Yeah.
And it also makes me retroactively go, was Big Little Lies a bad title and I just liked it more? Like
that's a good point.
You know, what are big, like, it's not
It's
big,
a very early 2000s title, like, so yeah, true. Maybe we've grown out of it or something.
Yeah. And that's interesting. And I agree with you. That's odd. Like, there was so like publicly that second season of the show, which the second season was no bueno. And no. And so I'm assuming this is like probably very different than the second season, because it's like I'm assuming the second season was the showrunner's idea.
I think so.
This is going to be her idea, but like I don't know. It's interesting to return to that well after it's been like so huge and famous, you know.
And I wasn't ever left thinking there was much.
Yeah, I think we said it.
To know.
Yeah.
I was never like wanting a sequel, I guess is kind of what I'm saying too.
Yeah, it makes me feel like in a very cynical way, and like this is probably not true because Leanne Moriarty is like an institution, but it makes me like there's a cynical part of me that's like, oh, did we need to make sure this next book was a hit or something? You know what I mean? Like I'm sure that's not the case. I'm sure she was like, oh, I feel like there's something unfinished I want to revisit, but like I don't know, I feel that way. You know?
I don't think so either. Yeah. Or I don't think I do.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was a weird one.
That is an odd one.
Yeah. Sweet. That one's not really on our list.
Here are all the books that aren't on our list.
Oh my gosh. It's always so fun to think about, but I really just won't. Like you're saying, when it's like not a big author, I'm just like, I'll privately tell people what I thought about a book, but I just keep. I also know like there's so much that goes into it. Like I'm a mood reader, so it's like something could have been good, and I was just not the right for it. And then not everyone's right for every book.
Totally,
that's what makes it hard. If it's not like really bad, it's gonna be hard for me to like need to talk about it. You know.
I agree. And like, yeah, you're right. Mood reader. And also like sometimes books hit at different points in our lives. Like I've definitely had books where I was like, oh, I love that book. And then I reread it like 10 years later. And I was like, it doesn't hit.
I've wondered about that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I've wondered about that with some. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just different.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I unfortunately have to go edit some more stuff. So
fair enough. Thank you for a long
natural end for everyone.